everyone, and welcome to a new show that I'll be running called Mitch's Minute, a podcast where I'm very self-indulgent and pretty shitty, actually. And essentially,
And it's not going to be a minute.
oh, it's not. It's no. But it's gonna be like a hot second. It's gonna be like 30 to an hour.
Hot second.
A hot second.
It's going to be a southern minute.
I am well aware.
So essentially, what it boils down to is, I kind of wanted to do a podcast show that was a little different from Roundtable and a little different from the Velvet Cast, where essentially it's a rotating door of guests and stuff. So, like, for example, in our first episode, we're gonna have Velvet Room attendant Josh with us.
Yeah.
Boy, that delay. that awkward pause.
I guess, I've forgotten what it feels like.
I think
on
it
one of
adds
these things.
It adds to Josh to the awkward silence right before he talks.
And we're joined by our first guest, which was a real cheap shot.
You asked, so I said yes.
There's this real moment where I'm like, oh man, I probably should have gone and grabbed like a legitimate guest.
Man, scraping the bottom of the barrel super early on this one.
Jumping the shark within the first 5 minutes of the show, not even. We're joined by Tabi, who did the art for the thumbnail that's going to be there and hopefully in the video too.
Yay, I drew that.
But essentially what this show boils down to is it is a show about nothing, which is the tagline of Seinfeld and pretty much any show that I really enjoy. It's supposed to be like a casual conversation about nothing. So, like, we can bring up a couple things here and there, but, like, it just boils down to, hey, I got nothing better to do on a fucking Sunday night. And why the fuck not? And
so, Mitch, what's the difference between this and any of the other podcasts you do?
let me break it down so eloquently. I don't know.
Shit.
Okay. So, that is the main difference. The main difference is that there is no point to this show. It's supposed to be very free form, creatively speaking. So, like, at some point, I'd love to get Panda Plants on. I'd love to get, that yellow one, Stevie, who works behind the scenes in the dark Velvet Room. Because we've been talking to him here and there, and I want him to be a guest on Velvet Hunters because, one, he is way better than us. He's way better than us, and
I mean, you never claimed to be good at the game, did you?
No, we did not. No, absolutely not. No. But, like, the idea is that I want to have guests on the show, like, on a regular basis, and this is a bad idea to drink the pop first.
And he dies.
Oh, yeah, no, end of show. And,
I see, okay. Well, it's nice meeting everybody. All right.
First and last episode of Mitch's Minute.
And it has been almost a minute, so...
It has been 3. It has been 3 minutes.
That's close enough.
Well, we got 3 episodes out of the way right there.
That'd be the worst. That'd be the worst show ever. It just pops up like 1 minute at a time every week. And there's no, like, clear definitive end or anything. It just kind of like, it's like, ha ha ha, and then just cuts. And then, like, there's like a little thing advertising for Nutella or some shit or some advertisement.
No, it's avant-garde, right?
God. No, but, like, the whole idea behind the show is just to, I would love to have a very casual, free-flowing show where it's like there's, because some weeks, Sora can't make it to the Velvet Cast, and on those weeks we didn't do anything, or we would do something like a roundtable, or there was weeks where you couldn't make it, or there's just, like, the idea was just, like, we had so many different show ideas that were just so inconsistent, and the idea behind this one is just the idea of, like, if there's one thing that is consistent in both those shows, and that's me. I show up to both. Depend, at weird times maybe, and sometimes after, like, a fucking Odin sleep styled nap, but, like, I will show up.
I can sleep.
I don't sleep well anymore. And
Oh man, suddenly getting dark all of a sudden.
I
Poor
I don't
baby.
sleep so well anymore.
smoke like a big cigarette. It's fucking like way too long.
You like stare out the window longingly at the moon, just like I wish sleep would come.
Some Itachi Uchiha shit right there.
God, it's funny that you say that. We were talking about fucking Sasuke.
We were
Uchiha.
talking about fucking.
We were talking about Sasuke Uchiha last night and how like there's this real push for edgelordness in certain communities, but I won't get too much into it because that's way too personal.
Oh, because you're super edgelord, Mitch.
Oh yeah, man. I'm Edgy McEdgelord and I love the taste of my own cum. Just just really pump it right in there, guzzle it down like a delicious spring water.
You disappoint me.
I feel like it's this thing where like when you're a teenager, of course you love edgelord characters because you are an edgelord character, and then at some point you're supposed to grow out of it. You're supposed to grow out.
I'll never grow out of it.
Josh, fuck you. I feel like you're the equivalent for you, like using Naruto as an example. The equivalent for you is like Neji is your edgelord. Fucking not even Sasuke. It's just Neji.
I'm the uneducated one here in Naruto. I've never seen it.
I would almost say go ahead and just skip that one.
Oh, I'm going to. You don't have to convince me.
And it's just one of those things where it's like all edgelord characters are kind of like that. Like the one that's like really tongue in cheek is Reaper from Overwatch, where it's very very tongue in cheek. Like they know that they're overplaying it, you know, to be more than it needs to be, kind of bullshit, you know. But speaking of Overwatch,
some people think Reaper is super cool. I think.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I mean, but Reaper is super cool. But Reaper's super cool because he's self-aware. Like
he's aware he's an edgelord.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is. I'm pretty sure like that's the gimmick. The gimmick is that Reaper is aware that he's an edgelord, quote unquote. Like I mean I don't know. In 2076, I just kind of assumed that would be like you have to know, you have to be aware. But speaking of Overwatch, we've been playing a lot of Splatoon lately on the channel. I have been playing a shit ton of Splatoon, even with some of the people in this room.
You're only level like 14.
Well,
I'm level 6, so I can't really like.
We played with Maddie, who's level 23. She's like level 23.
Yeah, I think so.
She's way better than both of us. She's like infinitely better because we'll be playing. So the whole point of Splatoon, if you guys have not checked that out or anything like that, the whole point is that you're playing Paint War. It's Overwatch Paint War, where you pick a weapon and you try to cover as much territory as you can with your team's color, and Maddie is a little bitch, and she'll purposely hide in spots like behind obstacles and stuff, wait for you to pass by, and take out her dualies and shoot you like a dick.
I'm like the horribly competitive person with it though, because I get, oh my gosh, I get so mean.
Oh god, it's fucking. If you have a Switch and you have not checked out Splatoon, I super recommend it. It's fucking great. I've been playing it every night till like 2 a.m. because I can't sleep. And it's like so colorful and so like nice, and like I think it was Stacy who had said that like it's like, Mitchell, maybe you like this game because of all the colors, and I'm like, yeah. Probably. It's probably.
See, I'm not a big multiplayer person. I hate multiplayer games. But I do like Splatoon.
And
as well.
The controversial statement of the night will be that Splatoon's probably better than Overwatch.
I feel like a lot of games are better than Overwatch.
John,
Oh shit!
if Aaron was here, he would destroy all of us right now because he absolutely loves Overwatch.
Well,
It's okay. I would accept that.
I would say different strokes for different blokes, but it's something where it's like, so Overwatch has had some of these like sort of core fundamental issues that I've never seen really get addressed, but I won't really press too much on them.
Well,
just because
I am curious. Like, what do you mean?
Well, I think I've talked about it a couple of times before, but it's like how it handles so game design is like a practice in sort of psychology in a certain respect, where it's like design is supposed to encourage people to exhibit certain kinds of behaviors, right?
Yeah.
That's why in like the Uncharted games, like the path that you're supposed to take is actually lighter than like most of the other areas. It's supposed to be like the Crash Bandicoot squint test, where if you squint at the screen really hard, you can sort of see where you're supposed to go based on like how light the path is. And with Overwatch, there are certain things in it that really encourage people to be toxic and makes it very hard to sort of know like what's an impactful play and what you're supposed to do.
What?
Like, I think the maps are well designed, the characters are well designed, sort of.
What?
But it's like the social systems are just all kinds of effed up.
Well, what I would ask is, okay, so let's use a comparison then. So like let's take a different game and compare it to like it's socially with Overwatch. So like how would you like what is another game that you would say would be like have a better implementation of the social system than Overwatch does?
It's a hard question to really tackle because of like one of the core things about Overwatch is that it's designed as a hero switching game, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the big thing that Blizzard always pushed about it. It's like we want you to be able to play all the heroes and we want you to be able to switch and switch and switch based on like the like needs of the team. But it's something where because of that, when you have people who are inflexible or who don't want to switch, it makes it very difficult to sort of own up to like responsibility and say, okay, so something's not working. It might be me that's making it not work. And everybody, like since there are 6 people on the team that can say and point to all the other 5 and say, you're not switching, what's wrong with you? We're losing the game. And nobody in Overwatch can really accept the responsibility for that because of how diffuse that responsibility is.
Well, I see. The thing is that I tend to play support characters, but like I think a good example of that particular situation is like I love Sombra. Sombra is like my favorite hero in Overwatch. Like if I'm not playing a support character, I'm probably playing Sombra. And the problem with her is that like before the buffs, like it was very hard to reason why I'm playing Sombra. Like they were like because there were like it's like okay. Oh, god damn it.
Well, it's like all the characters are fun to play mechanically, right?
But yeah, of course. I would say except for maybe one.
Who is the one?
That is the mystery hero that you guys will have to guess in the comments down below. Who was I referring to? Who isn't the fun hero?
I already know that I can't manage to play Doomfist to save my life, so I get a feeling it's him, but I don't know how you play him.
Oh, I'm actually pretty okay. I'm not as good as other people with it, but like I'm actually like it depends. It depends on the day.
Like it's something where I personally do not like a lot of toxicity in my games. And it's
that's
something
why
where
I don't play multiplayer.
yeah, it's like it's strange coming from the person who plays a whole bunch of Rainbow Six, which is like a super hardcore shooter with a known toxic community.
Well,
But at the same time, it's like usually when they're toxic, they typically know what they're talking about, or they're just spewing bullshit. In which case, you know to ignore them.
I feel like there's like the two schools of thought, right? Where it's like I think because let's take a game like Splatoon, right? In Splatoon, it's hard to be social in that game. Like, it's just one of those things where it's like you're put up with like 3 other players, and you have to do your job, and everyone's job is the exact same job. There's no healers, there's no DPS or tanks or anything. You just have a different style of weapon, and then that different style, it gets implemented in a certain way, and there isn't really a rock paper scissors to it. It's just more like, you just pick whatever you like, and if you lose a match, you could just cancel out. Like, there's no voice chat, there's no like teams, there's no nothing like that, and at least in regular battles. And yeah, go ahead.
Well, what's funny to me is, like, I think the best and most interesting part about Overwatch is the team play, but I just never see it.
Well, it's because you play Zarya. like team
I mean,
play
I
the
play
character.
other. I mean, it's like I will play other characters. I play pretty much all the other tanks. I play pretty much all the supports, and it's something where, like, the most interesting part about Overwatch as a game to me is when you do have those interesting team plays and you have a really tightly put together team comp, and it's all about the execution. But it's something that I feel like most people don't really play the game that way.
Well, it's that frustration thing I always say once, like when the team, like when a match goes on for too long and I get really pissed off, and I'm just like, everyone wants to be Goku, everyone wants to be fucking Goku, and that's the truth. Like, it's what I mean by that is like, everyone wants to be like play of the game king champion. They want to be the solo character who did it all, and maybe not everyone feels that way, but sometimes it feels like that, where it's like
You see, like, I don't feel that way at all. I'm completely fine playing like a support or a tank.
But you've
The
seen
problem
it.
is you get very burnt out in this game.
Like especially like Splatoon matches last like 3 minutes, and it's like the perfect time, because I'm like, if I lose one, I'm just like, damn it. But like, if I play Overwatch and like it was 10 minutes or like 11 minutes of a fucking round, like let's take Hanamura. Hanamura is a map with 2 points, and it's very easy to lose that first point. It's very, like, I would say the difficulty racks the fuck up, or revs the fuck up, like for point B, and it's very easy to spend like 3 or 4 minutes trying to get the first point, and then spending like 6, 7, 8 minutes trying to get the other point, and then like when you don't win, or if it's just trickling down, or if you guys can't come up with a strategy to come up and like take that point, it sucks. It is like the worst experience in the world, and there's nothing more infuriating than being a support player, or in your case, Josh, being a tank, and watching your teammates try to like go in solo, guns a-blazing, because they think that they could take on the entire team, or do their own thing, or be supportive from their perspective, and then die because they weren't supported or anything, and then they blame. Then, like, I don't know, the toxicity of Overwatch always felt like it was just coming from this place of just no one doing what like you're supposed to technically do, or no one, for a game that's a team fight, everyone wants to be Goku, everyone wants to do it themselves.
I mean, I think it's like a lot of it is like, I believe that a lot of it is owed to how Overwatch reports its stats to the players, how Overwatch chooses to like be like a hero switching game, and then part of it is also because you have 6-man teams rather than 5. Because with a 6-man team, it's like, when you look at it, like most of the time, objectively, there's no reason not to have like a 2-2-2 comp, where it's like 2 DPS, 2 tanks, and then 2 healers. Because if one person dies, then you have like the other people, like one spot of redundancy, right?
Right.
And then it's like, that's usually the most stable way to run things, but if it was a 5-man thing, you have to cut something somewhere, and it makes sense for the team to be a little bit imbalanced then.
Tabby, how do you feel about this?
Oh my gosh, I have like no input on Overwatch. I don't understand team struggle. You gotta think, I'm the person who plays like single player games, and I'm like, I could spend 12 hours alone in my room just doing this. I get involved with like team stuff, and I immediately like it's like learning another language to me. I don't get it.
Well, wait. So that's interesting to bring up because then what is it about Splatoon that makes it like work for you?
Because there's one rule, and it's just cover as much as you can and make sure your team wins. And it doesn't matter which weapon you choose. Not really. Of course, you're going to want to kind of be like, oh, well, someone has a longer range, someone has a shorter range, but that's about it. That's
Actually,
like the entire mechanic.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me.
And there's no healing or anything like that. It's just it's just cover the most, and it's like, all right, cool, that's it.
Honestly, I feel like some of Overwatch's gameplay is really subtle and hard to understand sometimes. Which sounds weird because of how flamboyant Overwatch is, but I legitimately think that people don't understand what you need to do in order to win fights a lot of the time.
That would be me.
Well, I'd say yeah. I would agree with that.
I mean, even I have a difficult time, like, sort of figuring out, like, okay, so in order to win this fight, what do we need to do? Do we need to just jump off of the point for a second, let them take it, and then, pelt them from off of the point so that we can wipe their team? Or do we just dive on them, or something like that?
I'd love to keep talking about Overwatch, but I feel like
but it's
in our short
I get a bit impassioned about this subject because I don't play Overwatch much anymore because I can't bear to. But I still follow like the esports scene around it quite avidly.
Oh, really?
Well, I follow the meta stuff, right? Because that's what interests me. I like the sort of set play that people tend to do.
Okay. Well, okay, so not to totally just change subjects here because I can and it's my show. But I just wanted to say real quick to anyone who is supporting the show, like all of our shows through the Patreon, I just wanted to give a really quick shout out because those guys are like the real champs of like this is like an ad read. That's what it boils down to right now.
This show is brought to you by Advil.
This show is brought to you by Splatoon. please play Splatoon. No,
listen, guys, this is Mitch shilling out.
He's not getting paid for this. He wishes he was getting paid for this.
It would make my job way easier if I was getting paid for this.
If Nintendo paid you, yes.
Yeah. I wanna get to the level where I'm just filming myself on a couch, being like, "Do you guys like ink? Do you guys enjoy the taste of calamari and guzzling cum in your mouth? Would try Splatoon 2."
One of those things is wrong.
I don't know.
Two of those things is wrong.
Man. I'm sorry, Mitch. We can't have Nintendo paying you. Because Capcom's taking all that sweet money.
God damn it! God damn it! Fuck. Okay, can we talk about that? I mean, why not? It's my show.
I mean, it's your show.
Okay, so for those of you who watch Velvet Hunters, thank you, because that is one of my favorite shows we're doing right now is Velvet Hunters. But I wanted to bring up one of the things that happened the other week. So we did an episode where we were hunting something. I think it was like episode 3 or something. We're hunting, like, it was a pretty good episode. We were just shooting the shit. I think we hunted like a Rodabon or whatever, and like a couple other monsters. And I woke up the next morning, like I was feeling pretty good. Like whenever you do a good show, hot off the heels, you feel pretty great about it. And then I wake up to an email that just says like, "Oh yeah, Capcom detected that you were playing, like there was a scene that you had streamed, and now Capcom will make whatever money, like they'll put ads in your video probably before and after your video." And it was like the most infuriating fucking thing. Before I realized that, like, we're not that big, so, like, congratulations, take your 6 cents, fucking piece of shit. Like, I don't like advertisements in my videos, despite me constantly in the middle of a internal war of being like, I should just put ads in the videos. And
I mean, we already live in the cyberpunk dystopia that people were writing about in the 1980s.
God, God damn it!
I mean, it's about that time, right? It's 2018, the world of the future.
Well, you know what's funny? There's on HBO they're doing a take on Fahrenheit 451, and I'm fucking excited for that.
Oh yeah, I'd heard about that.
Michael B. Jordan's going to be the main character. I love Michael B. Jordan. He's great.
Suddenly you love him.
I do. Are you implying that I just love him because of Black Panther?
He's gonna.
I don't know. I didn't watch Creed.
I watched Creed. It's great. Creed is incredibly
More
solid.
people probably needed to watch it, but I don't think people did. So I don't know. I only saw Michael B. Jordan in Black Panther. So sorry.
No, it's fine. You're fine. I just think it's like you're trying to call me out, and then you couldn't back up the call out yourself. Yeah.
That's how the internet does it, man.
Yeah, but like, if you haven't seen Creed, go see Creed. Like, that's also another. I'm not getting paid for this. Go see Creed. It won a couple of awards, I think. A couple of awards, and it was like one of those, like, there's this very specific moment in that movie that like just sells the whole fucking thing to me, where it's I'm not going to explain the scene, but essentially what it boils down to is like the whole movie kind of builds up to one delivery of one line, and it's so good. It's such a solid like moment, and it when you hear that line, it encapsulates the entire film, like something that you kind of knew in the back of your mind, but like when you hear the character say it, it's like, fuck, good for you. But yeah, no, YouTube ads are weird. like it's just,
what it boils down to. YouTube ads are weird.
Yeah, the fucking, well, because we don't do them, right? So we don't, like, we use the Patreon to fund to fund the show, and then most of the time I just go out of pocket to fund things. Josh bought the mic I'm using right now, and Sora bought the PS4, and I'm using his fucking old PC to run the show. Like, Sora and Josh have essentially funded my entire art project that I've been working on for 10 years now.
Congratulations.
And
I mean, I think it's interesting that you can fund that on, or that you can run it on just that.
Well, remember what I used to run the show on was a $300 laptop, and yeah, no, that it was HP. It was a $300 HP that I had bought to play Dramatical Murder on, because I wanted to play Dramatical Murder so bad, and I didn't have a working laptop. And I bought it. I was like, fuck it. I wanted to play Dramatical Murder. I was so gay for those guys, and I'm becoming that way
with Amnesia.
With it, yeah, because I keep seeing pictures of Iki, and I'm like, I don't want to spoil myself. I want to keep playing Amnesia so badly. I'm like, oh god, I want to see what these guys. And then someone spoiled for me that there's gonna be a hot blonde guy, and I'm like, fuck.
Oh, so, you're screwed. That's it.
Yeah, in a lot of ways.
Here comes Gilgamesh.
Oh, if only.
but I mean, that's the trick of the trade, right? Like that's the thing where it's like I was trying to explain it to someone, I can't remember, but like Amnesia is like one of those series. It reminds me so much of just like this time frame in the Velvet Room when we were doing visual novels and those types of visual novels. And I think I said it in like an upcoming episode of Doki Doki. I don't like visual novels where you're dating women, because most of the time, let me rephrase that. I don't like dating sims where you're dating girls, and I don't mean women, I mean girls, like high schoolers and stuff like that. I don't like those games, mainly because I think that they kind of repeat the same kind of writing style, like they kind of repeat the same writing ideas, or tropes, and then with games where you're dating like dudes, they're always older, they're always in their 20s, or like, and I'm just like, yes, fuck yeah. And then Iki's so fucking hot, and so is Shen, and
the only one I'm aware of is Iki, and he's beautiful.
Iki's so fucking hot. But like that, like I mean, Josh, do you kind of partake in maybe not the visual novel culture, but like you understand where I'm coming from, hopefully to some degree?
Well, I don't play any visual novels, like speaking candidly, but I interact with like, you know, the anime and manga fandoms a lot. Well, not a lot. It's just like I know the medium, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is just that I don't know. A little bit of it is that there are really popular writing crutches out there that sort of stunt how everything works.
Yeah.
But also, it's just that the stuff that's popular isn't what's good a lot of the time.
Well,
Like, even the stuff that people say is good that is popular tends not to be that interesting.
that's very fair. But like, all I was trying to get at was just the idea of like, I fucking love Amnesia Memories. If you guys have not checked out, that's a lot of shilling in this show. If you guys have not checked out Amnesia Memories, that is probably like one of my favorite playthroughs we're doing right now. Like, I would rank it as Persona's probably first, and then Amnesia, and then Moemon, then Doki Doki. And there's a couple of series in the back burner. But anyways, guys, we're actually at the end of our first episode. It was only like 31 minutes.
What?
Yeah, I'm. This is technically where I wanted to end the show.
Oh man,
Comes
out of nowhere.
Well, that's the problem, right? Because like there's no guidelines to this show, so it just feels kind of weird. Like it's like we're at the 31-minute mark, and I'm like, I kind of want to keep going. Like, I kind of want to keep I want to keep seeing where
I
this
wanted
goes.
to talk about my first experience with dramatical murder.
Yeah, no, you know what? Fuck time. Just let's keep going. Let's keep going until we inevitably have nothing to talk about.
The minute has to go to a full 60, man.
All right, Tabi, tell us about your first experience with dramatical.
Oh god, I wish I could remember how I'd learned about it. I was in high school for sure, but I remember because I used to live in Kentucky, and I live in Cincinnati now. I don't care who knows, but I was moving into college, and I'd never like lived on my own or away from my parents before, so. We were moving in, and I was playing Dramatical Murder on my laptop, trying to hide it from my mom. And school hadn't started. None of my roommates had moved into our apartment yet. And so it's just me alone in an apartment playing Dramatical Murder until like 3 o'clock in the morning with the audio turned way down because I was scared that the walls were so thin that they'd hear it. And I was like, no one can know about noise. I was like, he's my man at this moment in time.
Was Noise your first one?
I remember he was the one I was playing at the moment. I'm pretty sure the first time I played it, I got... I wanted Clear, but I don't remember if he was my first one. Clear was my favorite. He was my baby.
You never forget your first as I look at Kojaku. Like, I'm just like, oh, yeah. Like well, of course Kojaku. Kojaku's the fucking, like, he's so sweet. He's so, you know, he's like the best friend. Like, he's
got a ponytail and a full body tattoo. What's not to love?
Yeah, he's like Hot Orin from Final Fantasy X.
I thought you were gonna say like Oron is in like High School Host Club, and I was like, what?
Different thing. That's actually more akin to Amnesia. Right now, like the thing that, well, also the thing with Dramatical is Dramatical did a really good job at building a world that it was very easy to like fall into.
Oh yeah, Dramatical had that's the thing. I would tell people about the game, and I'd have to very quietly just be like, well, it's a porn game, but the plot's really good.
That's always the problem, right?
Yeah.
It's
Dramatic porn, guys. It's art.
well, okay, but here's the thing, though. So it's this weird thing where the porn makes it. How do I word this? It doesn't. I know it's kind of the huge selling point for some people for Dramatical.
But it like waters down the plot.
Like,
to me, it does. It's just like an end goal that's unnecessary.
I think that like the porn part makes it interesting. Like the thing with Dramatical that made it really interesting, and this is kind of a controversial whatever, but let's take Mink. Like sex was used in Dramatical to emphasize different things. Like I'm not to get into spoiler territory, but with Kojaku, it was very sweet. But there's a confliction with it. Like the physicality of their relationship is very complicated at first.
Are you saying that my boy fucking a robot was not physically complicated?
Well, no, what I'm saying is that like that one is so sad. That moment
that's
is so
the saddest bone you have to have in your entire life.
the saddest bone. Could that be the name of the episode? Fuck it. That's
Sure.
the name of the episode. Is the saddest bone.
The saddest bone of your entire life.
With noise, it's so casual, like, you know, it just kind of happens, and like it's like first thing out the gate too, but with Mink, like that's where things get complicated, like where he does something really bad, really, really, really bad that like you're not expecting it, you're not like. No one's expecting that to happen, and it's this thing where it's like for a lot of people it's really hard to go through, and it's really hard to even like like the fandom, like there's a portion of the fandom that loves Mink, and there's a portion, like a majority of the fandom, that absolutely hates Mink, and I'm
in that majority.
I totally understand. I absolutely 100% understand that, but like at the same time, like to me, like Mink's route changed how I interpreted the physicality of Dramatical Murder, where it became where every character's physical moments like meant more than like Mink was the game changer for me. Like playing his route was like eye opening to how the writers kind of, how do I word this? How they played with kind of like the different ways that physicality can work into this kind of game. And I think that like when you find like Mink does something really, really bad, and then it's explained later why he does it, and then even then it still feels like shit, to the point where they did in Dramatical's quote unquote like DLC continuation
Sequel deal.
Yeah,
It wasn't much of a sequel.
Yeah, Recoded. It was just an extension of the endings, and like it, but like they take Mink, and I almost feel like they did it exclusively because Mink needed more of a conclusion than he got. And it was that thing where
It didn't make me like him anymore.
Oh no, but for some people it did, and I feel like it like for me it did. Like I liked Mink before that to a degree because I thought like he was such a complex character, and I still like the fact that like I didn't feel like it wasn't like Kojaku or Clear where I fell in love with those characters, and I really enjoyed their appearance and embraced them. Mink was complicated. I hated him to some degree. I thought that, but I also kind of understood him, and I understood where he came from, despite how fucked up it is, and it was this level of understanding that made me understand. This level of understanding that made me feel something for him. That was like it was gray, and then it was that moment where I'm like, that's how Alba fucking feels. Like Alba feels gray about this character. He doesn't know how to feel sometimes about it, and I don't know. To me, like that was the moment where I'm like, this game is like, I loved that. Like, or how do I word this? The game was already really great to me. Mink, the combination of Mink's route and Clear's route, like being the later two I did, made it like incredible. Like this was one of my favorite games of all time. Like it's the writing is just so good.
And then you remember the anime, and it makes you
sad.
Oh
yeah, they ruined it.
Did you ever watch the I forgot what they called it. It was like the extra episode with all the bad endings in it.
No, I didn't bother watching. I watched one highlighted clip from the quote-unquote English dub of Dramatical Murder, which
There's
is...
an English dub?
Oh, it's bad. It's real bad. Like,
no.
you gotta... My favorite scene is it's the scene in Kojaku's route where Alba's just like, you have to have faith in me, you selfish bitch. And, like, it's the actual line.
Oh my god!
I butchered the first part, but like he actually says like, you selfish bitch, and like it was this weird moment where like I saw that clip and I watched a little bit of the first episode and I'm like, they're really playing into the fact that these characters are gay. Like really, really playing into it. It's actually bad. Like how stereotypic it felt with its dialogue choices. Like I don't know. And anyways, the point is that I feel like anime adaptations are always like the worst.
It's strange because people always get really excited for an anime, but typically
but then you inevitably know it's going to be worse than whatever.
Well, it's not inevitable. There are some that are pretty good, but at the same time, it's something that a lot of them are just to cash in, right?
There's some that you look at and you know. Like Dramatical Murder. You knew it wasn't going to turn out well.
Well, yeah.
Well, you have to think about it, because that game has, like, what? 5 different routes that it has to go through?
5 different routes, each one about 8 hours long, if you really want to try to count it, I think.
But the way that they tried to get around it is that they made all of them happen at the same time, but he just goes back to visit Toei, like, 5 times, and I'm like, he wouldn't let you get away with this.
Wait, is that what happens in the anime?
Yes. He goes in with, like, each individual person, and they each fail, and then he goes in with Rin, and then it works, and I'm like, okay.
The one thing I will give the Dramatical Murder anime was it had some really solid character ending songs, because I love Kojaku's character ending song for that for the anime. I did not watch the anime. Except for...
they ruined Clear's apron scene. I was so waiting for it to happen, and they made it much less spectacular.
Well, because that's the problem, where I feel like the only true way to experience that game is Let's Play. No, it's to play it yourself. And obviously listen to Let's Play. We did Dramatical Murder is still one of my favorite series we ever did on the channel. And
I remember. Oh, you go.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, it's always that thing where, like, the way I feel about Amnesia is how I feel about Dramatical, where it's like I'm having so much fun playing the game, but it's mainly because the guys are super hot and the story is actually pretty interesting. I'm having, if you guys have not checked out Amnesia, once again, shilling that shit out. If you guys have not checked out Amnesia, please do. One, it's Ron's first big show. Like.
Oh, is this like a pity thing for Ron?
Yes, please go check out. Please go check out.
Everyone, please just be nice to Ron. She's worked really hard. We love you.
Well, the only reason I even say that is because we had a comment 3 days ago, something like that, where like they didn't know who Ron was because we don't have the chibis in the corner, and
she's great, is what she is.
and so like they thought, some fans thought that Ron was Jackie.
No.
like it's bad. We've always had this problem in the Velvet Room where like sometimes people will just get people confused. People thought that Sora was me and I was Sora, and then some people thought that like Maddie was Gang Mudo or something.
Thank God nobody, like mistakes me for anybody.
Josh, how could we ever with your fucking monotone ass voice?
Well, I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah, just take the fucking compliment. But like that's how I feel about Amnesia Memories right now, where it's like I'm getting really involved in this story, and like I miss this feeling of like dating hot guys. No, I miss this feeling of just like good writing. Like it might not be the best writing I've ever experienced, but like at the same time, like I'm still enjoying it. And there's a little bit of a disappointment knowing that there isn't there's probably not going to be a porn scene. And I wanted that scene with Iki.
Can we get a shirtless Iki scene at least?
I want something. Give me something, game. But like I'm very curious to see where it goes, because with Dramatical I knew like it was rated M, so I was sure that like it was going to go into some dark places. With this,
it's rated M.
You
might get shirtless Iki. Don't hold out hope. It's okay. Believe it.
No, no, that's the thing. I don't know about Amnesia. With Dramatical Murder, I knew, but with this, I have no idea. So, like, it's really fun to go into this game blind and not know what's gonna happen at all. So, yeah, that's Mitch's gay corner for a moment. Where
It's cool. It's acceptable.
Yeah.
I just remember Ron in like the first episode of Amnesia being like, "Tabi, cosplay him," and I'm just sitting here like, I cannot do that man justice.
Oh god, well, Iki's outfit's so fucking crazy. Like it's like if you actually look at what he's wearing, like it's so bizarrely complicated.
I'm gonna look that up really quick. Actually, I'm curious.
Like Iki is so bizarre. Like if you look at his pants, like that's where it starts to like fall apart for me. Where it's like, holy shit! Like he looks like he belongs in a
Kingdom Hearts game.
Yeah, he looks like Tetsuya Nomura designed him.
Oh my god, he's so beautiful.
Did you look him up?
Oh my god, I did. Is there an anime? Because this looks like an anime photo. Is this real?
No, there is an anime for Amnesia.
Oh my god! I'm gonna watch it.
Jesus.
He's so beautiful, it hurts me.
Well, that's the thing. I heard nothing but bad things about the Amnesia anime. I hear.
Well, you know what? Low expectations.
Well, okay. So I think it's the same company. Ironically, I think it's the same company that did Dramatical. So,
ooh,
yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna set the bar really low.
well, it's available on Steam. Like it's that nice thing where there's an official translation for the game if anyone wants to play it. Like it's there. It's super there.
I'm gonna have to buy it.
All right, guys. I feel like this is where we should end the episode.
We should end it with me looking up his outfit.
Yeah. I think this is a good place to end the first episode. If you guys like this type of show, or if you guys have any feedback, feel free to comment down below. This is very experimental. Like I said at the very top of this episode, first of all, it was super great to have both Josh and Tabi available for the show. I just wanted to give you guys a quick shout out. If you guys want to plug yourself, go ahead and do that right now.
I have nothing to plug. I draw sometimes.
Yeah, you can go find Tabi's art at Tabi Does Art on Tumblr.
Lots of Voltron.
Oh yeah, lots of Voltron. And if you like Josh, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, sorry, I'm a limited commodity.
But yeah, like I said, if you guys like this video, give it a like. It always lets us know what kind of shows work for you guys. I know that this is not like a traditional show, and obviously when you guys will find that out next week when we do this, and I'm not sure who's going to be on the show, but we'll see what happens. But thank you guys for tuning in. This was actually really nice. I really enjoyed this format. So yeah,
it was really fun.
Yeah. Anyways, guys, next time on the
pleasure as always.
Oh, fuck you, Josh.
Yeah.
I was trying to end my show.
No. You can't end it on your own terms.
No, fuck you. Next time on the Velvet Room, if you guys have a chance, I will super continuously shill Amnesia. Go check out Amnesia. It's super great. All right, bye guys.
Bye.
Bye.